Hey, how's everybody doing? Thank you so much for joining me live on Friday Night Live with Susan Lynn. Let's get this party started because guess what? Every Friday, it means we survived another week under this insanity that our universe is calling a timeline. I would like to get a refund. I bet you would too. I want a refund. I want to return this, not as ordered. Check the box. No, not as ordered. Wrong size. Definitely wrong size, wrong color, wrong size, wrong thing. You sent me the wrong item. This is used. This is a messed up timeline from some other damn time that we didn't ask for. And that's all I have to say. That's how I'm opening my Friday Night Live. I'm a little spicy. How are y'all doing? Thank you so much for joining me tonight. I love that you're doing roll call. I love that we've got all kinds of people here, and I really appreciate you. We're going to make it. We're going to make it. And thanks to all my moderators. And thank you to Mary. I did actually remember before I saw my moderators remind me to turn on the slow mode. So you do have to wait 5 seconds between posting, but that just helps because there's a lot of people and it gets really busy really quickly. Also, you have to be a subscriber to comment. So if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. It's free. It's on sale for free. So I hope you will hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, because that actually lets other people know that I'm live that maybe forgot or didn't get the memo. Because apparently when you hit the like button during a live, YouTube goes, oh, cool, this person's doing something people like, and it sends it out. Hey, Libby's here. Meister Tarot is here. Please go check out her channel. Yes, thank you for the shirt. Yeah, organized enough to arrive on time. I love it. Anytime you arrive is a good time. Actually, my shirt reminds me of your little picture there. That's cool. Yeah, it's a lot of shirt going on, but you know what? Like I said, I'm a little spicy today, so why not, right? Why not? We're going to talk about a lot of things tonight. I do want to say that you probably know this. I don't know how many of you guys really understand this, but I'm channeling and I'm telling you tomorrow, I will not be able to tell you what I said. And that does not mean that I'm 100% right. It doesn't mean that my higher spirit guides are 100% right, because frankly, they can't predict freaking humans either, right? So anyway, but it is disconcerting because I'm like, I wonder what I told those people. Oh my God, it's insane. Yes, I think it is going to be a revolution. Um, yeah, well, I appreciate you guys. Hey, Kevin Lewis Medium is here too. Whoop whoop. I'm going to be in Canada. I'm going to be in Canada soon. I cannot wait. Um, and I'm going to be really, I know there's people in the chat who are going to be at Kevin's event in Canada. I'm going to be there with some amazing people. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing people in person, and I'm looking forward to being in Canada too. I'm going to be there on Canada Day, so I think I need a big, Canadian T-shirt or something. Like I think I need to show up and like rep. Like I maybe if I wear a Canadian T-shirt, they'll think I'm Canadian. I don't know. I'm going to go for that. I'm for sure not going to wear a Texan T-shirt. That's for sure. Although y'all know I love my Texans. We just got taken over temporarily, just like 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Yeah, it's going to be such a great event. So good to see everybody. Thank you so much. Am I being too optimistic that the tide is beginning to turn? I don't think you're being too optimistic, Roxanne. I think, though, what I would say about that is that it's darkest before it gets lighter. So in some ways, it's going to look worse, but that's an indication of us really dealing with the things we're supposed to be dealing with, right? So yeah, I think you can be optimistic. At the same time, though, and I said this in my video that I posted on whatever day that was, yesterday, and it surprised me because again, I'm channeling, and it surprised me because the energy, when you're channeling and there's a lot of energy to it, I'll remember that. And what I said to you guys was, I'm going to be here supporting you guys and supporting us, because my goal is not just to predict politics. My goal is to help us thrive. You know what I mean? Like the best revenge is to be better after the whole thing, right? To look better, to feel better, to be happier. When you're happier, when you're able to deal with the grief, I'm not saying bypass it, because we are going to, you know, cry. We're going to have grief, but we're also going to have joy. And we're going to learn how to hold both those things together at the same time. It's not like my life is screwed, it's never going to get better. That we know that's not true. So it's more like this is a sucky time and it's going to get better. But I know I'll probably have a challenge. But you know what? Now I know how to come back from the challenges. And I'm going to tell you something. We're going to be able to say, we came back from this. We lived through this. So guess what? Try somebody else, because we know how to handle adversity. That's what we're here to learn. And that's what we're going to learn. So yeah, I think a little bit of optimism is fine. Really, I do. Yeah, so good to see you guys. Yeah, oh, thank you. Well, Kevin's Living Vibrations. Woo, we got a whole, all right, we got a party. Hey, if all of us are in the same place at the same time, maybe it means something's going to happen. Hey, if something happens, I'm texting all of y'all. Libby, I don't have your phone number. Girl, if something happens, you're going to have to email me. We're going to have to get, I don't know. Why are we all here? Is it a bat signal? Is something going on? I'm here for it. I'm just saying. I'm here for it. There's so many things happening, you guys. Okay, let's start with, can I just start with something? Can I start with my own thing? Like, I know a lot of y'all got questions, but I got questions too. So I'm just going to start with mine. Did y'all see Hegseth trying to do his interpretive incel dance? Did you see it? Because I posted it on my community page. I actually did a little video montage real quick of Kamala Harris dancing, and Pete Hegseth doing some kind of thing with his knees. Like, I don't even know what the man was doing. What was he doing? Y'all, did you see it? Interpretive incel dance is what it was. Y'all, his knees were up here. I'm like, okay, sir, calm down. Please, you about to throw something out. Anyway, woo. I don't know. I can't believe those soldiers weren't laughing. I think they were facing away from him. But yeah, that was something. That was something. Let me tell you. You'll be there. Okay. All right, Libby. I'm counting on you. I don't have confetti. I will be doing my own victory interpretive dance on screen live. That's better than anything that I could have bought from Amazon, right? I'm just going to be me, myself, and I celebrating. Whew, yeah, I know, Barry. So I hope you guys understand what Barry is. Barry is the blood clot, and it was coined by the crew at Petty Boots, which happens on Sunday nights, and it's Jen Lynn and Johnny and why can't I remember her name? Becca. And it's either they coined it or one of their petty crew coined it. They named the blood clot Barry, which is also, Obama's nickname. So I think we all are rooting for Barry, and it's just perfect. So yeah, it's perfect. Hey, all my moderators, I see you. Ron, Unconditional Love. I see all of y'all. Thank y'all so much. Does Hegseth, the other thing that I think is super, super funny is, do you know how some of the acts, I don't know what to call them, entertainers are canceling from the Freedom event. Okay, they're all canceling. So now on Threads, there's a whole hundreds and hundreds of people posting that different people are having to cancel. So it's like people who are not alive anymore. So the cast of Yeehaw has now canceled. They cannot attend. So it's just a whole bunch of people are saying, no, Johnny Cash canceled. He is not attending. It's hilarious. It's I love the fact that we are taking these things and making fun of them, right? We're making fun of the insanity of it all. So I think it's great. So that the Barry thing and the incel interpretive dance that Hegseth did reminded me of everybody coming up with just the craziest themes about, oh no, this is my husband, he can't make it, he's washing the car that weekend, and it would happen to be like, some Mark Mark Twain or something like that. It was just hilarious. Um, Elvis is going with Barry. Even Marilyn Monroe canceled. See, that's what I'm saying, right? That's what I'm saying. Um, okay, let's just tangle with something big right off the bat. You guys, somebody else asked if Tallarico was going to win against Paxton. You may or may not be familiar with Paxton. If you're not, consider yourself very lucky. This guy has actually been indicted by the FBI, and he's still in leadership of Texas, the state of Texas. They tried to serve him court papers in his driveway, and his wife practically ran the process server over in her car with him in the car. This guy is just a crook. He's a crook, and he's actually really a crook, and much like the president. And so this guy's running, and apparently now he's running against Tellerico. Um, if I have that correct, I think I have it correct. Let me know if I don't. But um, here's what I think is going to happen with that. I think, yeah, evil Popeye. That's pretty good, actually. I think that Tellerico can win. I think that Tellerico can win. Now, I think that he is going to be caught up in the money game because it takes a lot of money, to be a U.S. senator. I mean, a lot of money, and he doesn't really have game, right? Like he hasn't. He's been a state rep or something. He doesn't have a lot of money. So I think that what I think is happening is the powers that be, whether they be whatever you want to call them, the dark money people, the dark money brokers, the spirit guides want to call them, are going to try to buy him and or muddy his name with their money. And that might be innocuous, it could be, it's just, I'm just giving you the heads up. This is the energy. Um, so, you know, um, our job, you all, is to pay attention, right? Like, so if we vote somebody in, we can't just walk away. Those days are gone. This is kind of how we got here, and myself included, and I'm very involved in politics. But we have to kind of keep tabs on these people, and we have to hold them accountable. So whether it's Tallarico or anybody else, if they don't do what we want them to do, we need to be organized enough, strong enough to give them hell and or to vote them out. And you can do that by being in a group. Like, that's another thing. I think we're all exhausted because we're doing this by ourselves, and we're actually replicating a lot of people's work by just being by ourselves. So find a group. And numbers, we're going to be needing numbers. We're going to be in groups, and we're going to be very effective. So that's what I would say about that. I do think that he's possibly going to pull that off. And I'm sure it's going to be nasty. Libby, he's already tried bullying Tellerico's schoolyard name. Yeah, look, this is what they did with Beto O'Rourke. They said, "How is your name, Beto?" Well, that's his nickname, and it really is his nickname. Texas is it's dirty. They've admitted it themselves. They came out and said we would have lost this election had the governor not withdrawn or thrown out all these votes because we doubted the veracity or the legality of them. It's a very dirty place to operate. And Denise knows Texas very well because she was very involved in Texas politics for a long time. And she says Tallarico has more money than Paxton of now. That's great. But that's also why my guides brought it up. Okay. That's why my guides brought it up. He's going to get this money from someplace. And there's not a lot of places that you can get money that doesn't have strings to someplace else. I'm just giving you what I'm getting. You can, make of it what you want. But they might try to trip him up that way. And it could be very easy to do just because, right? Yeah, Milli Vanilli has canceled, or yeah, right. The Village People, right? So yeah, the Freedom, whatever that Freedom concert thing is, I was saying earlier, people are making fun of it because everybody's canceling, and the bands that are there, it's like one living person is left, and it's basically a tribute band. It's not even really the band. So there's a lot going on. Yeah, this is a real letdown too, right? Booker hasn't been seen since Delaney Hall protest started. He's up for reelection. He hasn't been seen before that. He's been on his book tour, you all. Even before the Delaney Hall thing, he's been AWOL. But the problem is he's not speaking out against anything. So we have to rise up, and unfortunately, we have to vote in numbers that are way bigger than we need. We need to vote like in 40% over, unfortunately. And this is what I said in my video yesterday. Biden won because we surprised them with how many people came out. They weren't prepared. They never ever thought that many people would come out. So then when she was running, they stepped it up. They were like, okay, we're going to monitor it while it's happening, and then we're going to hit our surge when we need to. So that's kind of what's going to happen again this time. No, actually, what's going to happen again this time is the same reason that Tallarico is probably going to win, is because it's untenable. It's a showdown. It didn't work. Their experiment didn't work. They can't take over the United States in this fashion. I mean, they can ruin it. They're doing that, but I do think they may make some kind of deal with maybe with somebody like Jeffries, so or Booker or people like that. So just be on the lookout. Oh, Libby thinks Beto won both times. I think he won at least one of those times. But I agree with you. Look, this guy, I mean, look, he said some things that have pissed me off too. Everybody's going to. Nobody's going to make you 100%. We're not marrying them. You know what I mean? They're just representing parts of us. They can't represent all of us. But Beto really and truly went to every single county in Texas. Texas is a huge state. He did like the Obama thing, and he went to the streets. So yeah, I think they did him dirty the same way they did Al Gore, Hillary Clinton, Kamala Harris, right? Like it's a thing. It's a pattern they seem to be using or having. Paxton does run the elections in Texas. That's the problem, you guys. But when you go into the energy, so what I want you guys to do is let's not look at the surface of what media is telling us. Use your spidey senses and go into the energy. When you go into the energy of it, do you feel like Paxton wins? Do you feel him being successful? Start practicing your intuition, because you're going to need this in your own life, right? So the problem with that is when they do steal things, it's harder because energetically she won, like she won, but they stole it. So it is a little harder to do. How are you guys doing? So good to see everybody. Thank you so much for joining me tonight and every Friday night, whenever you can. Or if you're watching this on the weekend, that's all good too. I will try. Oh, right. I forgot about that Julie M. Oh my God, that's good dirt too. I will try to put out the timestamps tomorrow for this. So if you want to watch it later and just dial in, you can. I forgot about the divorce with his wife. It's such Peyton Place stuff, right? It's such like real political lives from hell in Texas. It could be the, show. But yeah, she's divorcing him. I forgot. His wife, who stood by him through thick and thin, is actually divorcing him. That actually could bring up, I think it's going to bring up some dirt. But I mean, the guy's got like 5 FBI, like federal indictments, and that hasn't put him in prison yet. It's 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 crazy. It's untenable. The guides keep saying it's untenable. It cannot go on like this, right? That's great. Tallarico flipped a seat in Texas. That's great. I mean, look, I'm not. Am I saying that he's not going to do it? I'm saying I'm reading energy, you guys. I'm saying that he is not. I don't. I'm not sure that he is down and dirty enough for Texas politics. That's what I would say. So he might be victimized by that the way any normal person would. Okay. um is 45 still at Walter Reed? I don't even know that he was. I think whenever he was there, he left there. The last time I saw a video of him, he was staring at the columns of the White House, And people were saying that he was taking a dump in his pants. But actually, I think, well, he could have been doing that. I mean, let's face it, even he can do two things at once. But he also is talking about changing the columns. They're too plain. I think he wants some fluted, like Roman columns. So I think that's why he was standing there looking at them. Now, he could have been also taking care of some business. I don't know. Um, he is going to go in and out of the hospital, quote unquote, because they have hospitals, mini hospital in the White House. They have medical facilities everywhere, but he's going to be going in and out quite often, quite often. Yeah, yeah, I agree, Libby. He did the steps at the public thing, hugely disappointed. Yeah. But see, this is the thing that I think we're trying to learn right now is the paradox. So Booker also is the one who took the floor and did that, whatever that thing is, where he talked for 24 hours or whatever. That was good. And then he kind of lets you down over here, right? So I'm not saying to support him because I don't. I'm just saying that it's not going to be very clear right now. People are going to be good and then bad and then good and then bad. It's going to make our head hurt. But I'll say Andy Kim is somebody who is all good. I think Andy Kim and Mamdani can't find nothing to disagree with. This guy's amazing. He was pepper sprayed. He is just an amazing guy. He's truly the epitome of a public servant, in my opinion. Truly. He's such a good guy. Oh, Aaron interviewed Booker today. Booker was on with Lawrence O'Donnell last night. Oh, well, he's doing the thing, isn't he? He's taking care of himself, I see. Um, he's such a good, he's got that articulate politician. He can be so good, right? He's like an attorney. Maybe he is an attorney, but he has this ability to really just nail it home. And we need people like that, but we don't need him. What happened in Delaney in New Jersey? A lot of things are happening in Delaney in New Jersey. I don't know about if you're talking about any one particular thing, but so Delaney is I guess it's a holding place for people that ICE are taking there. And the people in there were having a hunger strike. I think this has been going on for a whole week. That's not good. Generally speaking, hunger strikes move the needle, right? Like they get attention and people are given help and whatever. So, but it's not working because this is not normal. We're not in the normal United States of America right now. So that's one thing. Number two, huge fighting going on in the parking lot around Delaney. Videos of what looks like a melee. It looks just like UFC fighting happening out there. It just looks completely insane. Andy Kim got pepper sprayed out there, I think. Then they put up barricades to separate the ICE agents from the protesters. The police are getting involved and saying these people need to have a place to protest. But at the same time, the police are calling ICE their partners. Again, that's what I'm saying. The police are like, hey, we got to keep these people safe. But at the same time, that's my brother, right? Confusing. Very, very confusing. Maybe not confusing. Maybe we just need to not let it be confusing and just say, no, you're all together then. If there is no Nazi adjacent, right? There's no racist adjacent. Like he's a good guy, but he's racist. That's not going to work, right? So I guess we just need to throw them all in the same pile. I don't know what other your question is, but that's what I know about Delaney, and I don't see it getting better. And I want to tell you too that this is also happening in Tennessee. In parts of Tennessee, they are just nabbing people, disappearing people. It's absolutely insane that this is happening in our country. And it's also insane that we're putting up with it. But I would just tell you that well, they're showing me Renee Good. I don't know why. And Alex Preddy. And I'm telling you, I couldn't come up with those names. If you asked me, I would just, there's no way. There's no way. So they're showing me these two people who are in spirit, and they're telling me their deaths will be avenged. That's what I'm hearing. I'm getting chills on that. They're saying their deaths will be avenged. So this is spreading. This kind of attack on us is spreading. And I think that there's this weird, have you ever read, again, can't remember names, Malcolm Gladwell, The Tipping Point? Have you guys ever read that book? You might want to read it, because we're getting to the tipping point here. And the tipping point might be gas prices. It might be gas prices plus attacks on a community, or gas prices plus a tax on a community, plus let's say hearing that our sailors are not getting fed. There's sort of like this weird constellation of things that happen that are seemingly not connected. They are connected because it's all connected to the president. But that's going to, that's going to erupt. Okay, so here's somebody saying that they pulled protesters into Delaney Hall. I did know that they pulled a few people into, and also they charged one of those people with a really high level crime, because there's a bite mark on this ICE person's arm. And then they're federal officers. So you get charged with a federal crime. It's very different than if you're protesting and a police officer arrests you. That's a misdemeanor. When you get arrested by a federal officer, it is a federal crime. That is a whole different thing. It's a game ender. It can ruin your life. It can ruin your career. It can make it impossible for you to get any kind of accreditation or to get a career. So they pulled protesters in Delaney Hall because they're going to. They're going to escalate this until they can use a bigger weapon. Also, the guides are showing me they had a tank, some kind of, I know it's not a tank, they had some kind of armored personnel vehicle with some kind of gun on it, pointing it at protesters. Their point is for this to get so out of control that they can do something like at Tiananmen Square, even worse. That they want to be able to defend. They want to be able to defend their reasoning. So they also have their own videographers who show up, amazingly at the right time, and video these things. They don't show all the other stuff. They just show these things. And I see them trying to make this evidence in a court of law. And I think in the short term, yes, in the short term, this is not going to go well for us or freedom or democracy, but it's really the short term. There's a time of real revolution energy. The guides also want to call it evolution, because we're evolving. We're evolving to say we're not going to be treated like this. We're not going to let you treat that person like this because they have a different skin color or they have an accent. So this is also an evolution as well as a revolution. So yeah, let's see what else you guys are talking about down here in the chat. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic medium. I'm a spirit navigator. I did change the channel of my YouTube channel to political predictions temporarily. We'll see how that goes, because YouTube doesn't like the word political. But I am doing some rebranding. I'm going to be coming out with a new website. So I'm just trying to sort of move the things around so that I can make more sense of them. If you guys don't know, I have an online community where I'm with you 6 hours a month. 6 hours, like a college credit, like you could go to college with me. So I have that community. I have a free community. I have my YouTube channels times 2. I have a spiritual one. I have this one. I have a classes. I have so many things, and I just need to make more sense of them, right? So that's what's going on. That's why a lot of these things are yeah, if you guys, if we have a troll here, get rid of them. And and if somebody accidentally, wait a minute, because I will get rid of you for real. Ex-warrior, I don't know what you're saying in the chat, but I'm just going to give you a little warning, okay? Like, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Let's put you on the big screen, ex-warrior. How you doing tonight? Because I'm doing good. And in some way, Kamala Harris is investigating the 45 administration cabinet. Look, I don't know where you're coming from, actually, but I'll just try to answer your question out of context the way I'm seeing it here, which is Kamala Harris is a citizen. She is you, she is me. Am I investigating it? Not really, because I don't have any way to investigate anything. I think all of us would call the FBI if we thought they would listen to us. We would all freaking be investigators. She's a private citizen. She has absolutely no way to do anything. So I don't know what you're trying to say, but that's my answer to you. And then I would just say, be polite and respectful here, or you can move along. Okay. How about that? Let's see. Yeah, she has no power. She has no power to investigate. All right. I was going to talk about this anyway. Let's talk about it, Mary. There's other people that have asked this before I went live. Hold on, I want to get your question too, Karen. Okay. Mary says, what do you make of Teal going to Argentina? The guides said this, or they said this, but they're also going to say more, apparently. So after the war, during the war, but after the war, a lot of NAZIs went to Argentina. They actually went there, lived there, and then a lot of them actually got arrested there. Even, after they had been there for 10, 15, 50 years, they were found and extradited and arrested. Okay. So my point is that for some reason, Argentina has some sort of connection to this kind of energy. Now, it makes sense, right? Peter Thiel has connections to this type of energy, allegedly. So that's number one. It's pretty easy connection to make. But number two, my guides were saying Argentina is a very difficult country to get to get to him. Okay. Like if he went to Germany or Israel or France or Colombia, I mean, it would be not as easy, not as hard to get to Argentina. Argentina is a big country and it has a lot of difficult topography. Okay. So that makes him, he feels safer there. He feels much safer there. Number two, he has these paramilitary, I wanted to call them gangs, but the guides corrected me to paramilitary because I don't know. I'm not even going to get into an argument about that right now with them. But paramilitary, people that protect him. And there's a rigid sort of police, a rigid control that just protects him. He's just more protected there. Land is cheap. He can buy, I mean, not that it needs to be cheap, but I mean, it's unpopulated, or he can buy 1,000,000,000 hectares of land. It wouldn't matter, right? So there's a lot of reasons he's going down there, but mainly he feels unsafe here in the US of A. He feels unsafe because of Luigi type situations, unhinged people, lone wolf people. He also feels unsafe because of other countries that have access to the United States is porous, right? Like somebody with a fake passport can come in and go out in 24 hours and we'll never know they were here. So that's what I'm getting. Now, there's some other things that he thinks he fashions, the guides would say, fashions himself as some kind of international world leader, and he feels like he's creating some, like the BRICS, the BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, I don't know, there's countries called the BRICS. He wants to create his own BRICS, his own group of countries, and you better believe he wants the United States to be part of that. That's what I'm getting. Who knows if that's all, if I'm getting that correctly. But as I said, I am not always right. I'm not a guru. I'm just a human with a lot of other extraterrestrials screaming in my ears all the time. What else we got going on here? Oh, I wanted to look, Karen, you had two questions. Let's go over here before I went live. Dealing Divas said, can Becerra beat Hilton? It seems like a no-brainer, but yeah, in this day and age, nothing is a no-brainer. I do think what we really honestly need to be talking about is, can Becerra beat Steyer? Because even though Becerra is going to beat Steyer, he should beat Steyer. This guy, Steyer's got unimaginable money, and money moves things. Money gets things done. Money buys things. Okay, buys things. You understand what I'm saying? So I would say to you, Becerra's feeling a little bit like Kamala Harris to me, like he should win, he's supposed to win, but will he win? I think he will, but I can't promise you, because Steyer there's something up his sleeve. They're telling me almost like a knife, like they would put knives in their sleeves or some trick up his sleeve. Then let's say, okay, so then we get over that one. Is Hilton the Republican version? I think maybe the question is, can or will Becerra be governor of California? And I'm going to tell you, there is a timeline when he is. I see it because I see the California. They have a bear or something on their flag. I see the California flag and I see Becerra. However, this is dirty politics. This is dirty tricks. This is swift boating. Do you guys remember that? Go all the way back to swift boating. That's when all this started, right? This kind of bait and switch and messing with our brains and all that stuff. So I'm just going to tell you guys, don't shoot the messenger. Call 1-800-SPIRIT Guides. Press 9 for complaints. If you get on hold, press call back. They might get back to you if you're meditating or something. I don't know. Anyway, what I was going to say was Steyer, there is a group of people like Robert Reich, Jane Fonda, whoever else, who believes that we need to weaponize the millionaire and have our own millionaire. Our millionaire is better than your millionaire because our millionaire likes the environment. So we're going to get our own millionaire. There is this energy, and it is in California. It is there. I cannot tell you otherwise. It is there. So that's something we're going to have to really work on in general. Do we need a millionaire in president or in the governor? Can a regular person like Obama be a governor, be a president? We really need to work on ourselves and energetically, astrologically, we're out with the billionaires. So this is happening. It's helping us. We have help, but we do need to sort of work on that, I think. Unfortunately, there are too many Californians that are believing this. I mean, that's what I'm getting energetically anyway. This is what I'm saying. Ro Khanna endorsed Steyer. You see what I'm saying? This is what I'm saying. They will argue with you till you're both blue in the face. They will argue with you. The only way to beat a billionaire is with a billionaire. They will argue with you. They truly believe it. So it may be, look, let's also be prepared, right? Like, this is what I'm trying to tell you. We need to be flexible. If Steyer gets in, then is it worse than a Republican? No, it's not, right? These are things that we're working through. We're not on the other side. We're not on the other side of billionaires yet. We haven't decided that they're medically, literally have a diagnosis. Like, when you become a billionaire and you can buy anything, you can buy a human, you can buy a country, you can buy anything. It messes with your brain. You lose contact with your soul, I think. And we're going to get there. It's just a process of working through this. And we need to be better about losing and understand we're not going to win it all. And sometimes we just have to take a break and then get back to it. It's really a marathon and not a sprint. And that's really hard for me personally. It really is. It's something I've really, really had to struggle with. And I'm still struggling with it. Steyer is fake. He is fake. I don't think he's for the environment. I think he's for him. It's a ego trip. It's a power trip. Personally, that's what I see. Another John Fetterman, exactly. And all the ones, right? All the ones that we've been duped by. Let's see if I can read your very long post. Okay, Strong Little Mama says, please look at Indiana Lieutenant Governor who said Islam is a demonic death cult and then said he wishes them all the best, by that meaning become Christian. What the jeez. Okay, right. Okay, this is what I'm trying to say. On one hand, Netanyahu he's just as bad as Putin. He's just as bad as 45. But Netanyahu is not, just like I'm sorry when people say that I'm pro 45 just because I live in the United States. Okay. So there are people who don't have the mental acuity to separate that Israel is not a death cult, but there are some bad people in Israel that are fomenting some pretty bad things about Gaza and other things, right? But it's just insane that an actual it's insane that anybody would say this, but it's really insane that an Indiana lieutenant governor would say that. This is further dividing us, and it's not healthy. It's not safe. And I would also say, and I talked about this in my video yesterday, you guys, these groups that are being targeted, and I didn't mention that group yesterday, but you really can't, we know this, right? Because of 45. You can't go, he's crazy. Don't listen to him. He's just talking crazy. You can't say that. You have to actually take this seriously. And then, frankly, synagogues need to come out and denounce this. Rabbis need to come out and denounce this. Rabbis in Indiana need to come out and denounce this. You can't ignore these people, because if you ignore them at your own risk, the guides are saying, right? They're going to make your life hell. We cannot ignore these people. We can't just keep giving them passes. We have to stand up to them. We have to call them out. We have to. We really have to. I just kind of explained it, Jen. I mean, I can't explain it because I don't get it. But they believe that a man with all this money can fight another man with all this money. It's kind of like if you think, well, my boxer is really tall and strong. I need another boxer that's really tall and strong. It's that kind of thing. Like taking a knife to a firefight, the guides are saying. They believe you're going to take a billionaire to a billionaire fight. Plus, there is a lot of money worshiping that people have, there's a lot of money worshiping. So I am saying, so Kim Michelle says, or your name is K Micheller, says, Susan, please explain Steyer respectfully. Are you saying because he's successful, he's bad? What is it you're seeing with Steyer, the man, not the billionaire? Well, that's what I'm trying to say. You can't really, in my opinion, because none of us have experienced this, okay? But I would suggest that you do some research into the kinds of personalities that people that have billions of dollars have. It warps your mind. It just warps your mind. I would say it's very hard to separate the billionaire from a person. The billions turn you into a new kind of person. With the only example, J.D. Pritzker, who I'm not sure is a billionaire. So the thing about Steyer is look into what he's actually doing, because he's doing things that he's hitting below the belt. And if you'll look into both sides, I would encourage all of you guys, don't take everything I say as gospel. I'm one data point. Hopefully you have lots of different data points. He's doing some things to Becerra that are under the belt. He's, it's actually pretty ugly over there. But I would just say energetically, I don't feel him to be above board. I think that bait and switch, the guides just said bait and switch. So if he becomes governor, what I think you're going to see is he's going to say, okay, I believe that there should be controlled rent, but also I'm going to give landlords these other things because we have to make it fair. Come on now. Come on. We have to be fair here. We have renters and we have landlords and we need to make it fair. You know what I mean? It's that whole thing that we've been hearing since Kamala Harris. But what about this? But what about that? Well, there is no fairness. Like, landlord is here, renter is here. To make them equal is not exactly going to help. So that's it. That's it. Maybe I'm wrong, you guys. Vote for whoever you want to. I'm not telling you to vote for. That's what I get. I think that red state voters, and I predicted this years ago, they're going to stay home. Number one, they're going to stay home. They can't bring themselves to hold their nose and vote for a D. So they're more than likely going to just stay home. There are about, the guides are saying 10% to 15%. And I mean, 15% is stretching it, but 10% are going to vote D. And now I'm talking about red state voters who are still red, not people who have already kind of drifted to independent or drifted to blue. I'm talking about red state voters that are still red. They're going to mostly stay home. And I think MAGAs are going to stay home too, for the most part. But where there's a vacuum, they can fill those votes in. I've talked about this a lot. When I still lived in Texas, the presidential election, I owned my house. I had owned that house for like 5 years. I voted every year, twice a year. Whenever there was an election, I voted. I got a postcard, a handwritten postcard from a volunteer saying, "Thank you so much for being a first-time voter. We really appreciate it." And it had a name. And I'm like, that's not my name, and I'm not a first-time voter. And I went on the rolls, and that person's name and my address was listed as having voted. That I don't know that person. That person never lived in my house, but somehow they got my address and they were able to vote with it. This is what I'm saying. It's really problematic, and this is why we have to have so many votes over what we think we need to have. So even if these people stay home, I'm afraid they're just going to fill those votes in, right? I don't think we're going to lose, but I think that we're not going to win by the amount we should win. And I thought about reporting that there was a time when I was very involved in the Texas political in my area. I have been a part of vote counting. I've been an election judge. I mean, I had a lot of contacts, but my area had gotten so red and so MAGA that I was literally afraid to even report it. Seriously. No, I saved the postcard for a long time. I talked about it on here. I talk about everything that happens to me on here. So yeah, these things can happen. I mean, anything can happen. How are they doing it, right? They got Doge. This was before Doge. Now they have Doge, right? So yeah, a lot going on. That's true. It's not really a battle against red and blue. It's really us and them. Yeah, I like Acton as your next governor. I like I like her energy. I like her possibilities. They are going to try to do something though. I don't know what they're showing me something with their head. I don't know what that means. They're going to try to do something. But I think she's very smart. Meaning, I think that she might be able to avoid whatever they're trying to do to her, but she could get hit in the head. There's something about her head that could cause her to drop out. That's a possibility. These things are not written in stone. They're not written in stone. They're just energies of thought. So plans that are pretty big for me to be able to pick up. Little me over here, I can pick up your plans, right? But I do like her energy. I really do, and I think she could do really well. Right. Paxton, Joyce Matthews says Paxton, who's in Texas, got 75% of the votes in a certain county, but it was only 90 votes out of tens of thousands of registered voters. It's totally bogus. I mean, he is bogus. They're bogus. The whole thing is bogus. And I haven't said this too many times because I don't like putting myself in a certain position. So I don't know why I'm saying it now, but I've maybe because I don't live there now, but I'm pretty sure that there are some cartels across the border south that are involved with Texas government. So that's a whole nother thing they have going on there, right? Like they've got those kinds of energies. Ginger says, do I see JD being president this year? Do I see anybody gone from the cabinet? Yeah, I do see people gone from the cabinet, and they're going. Tulsi didn't have an exact role. She's gone, and didn't, what's her name? The puppy, pow pow woman went. I'm really surprised that Patel is still there because I keep seeing him go. But I said this before, and the guides are reminding me. This cabinet, his first cabinet, he got rid of people every 6 months. I think he had a whole new cabinet in the middle of it, which is not out of the ordinary. Like sometimes presidents get new people, fine. But I always saw this cabinet sticking together, and the reason why is because they're criminals. The mob. You can't let Harry the Tool retire to, Minnesota and hang out in his cabin. He's like, oh, I'm done with this. I don't want to break any more kneecaps. I'm going to retire. You don't get to do that. You don't get to retire as a mob. And so I feel like this cabinet has this sort of death pact. Like for the most part, they're going to stay together. It can happen, but I think a lot of the kind of more the guys, I think they're going to stay together, or something is going to, or they'll break their, what did the guide said? The guide said in my video yesterday, somebody is going to have a broken neck laying in their bed. Like, how do you do that to yourself, right? So you could have a misfortune happen to you. Karen says, what happened to Amanda Ungaro, who threatened spilling the beans on Melania because her ex is trying to take her son away? And is he closest to Trump? It's just like Michael Cohen. It's just like Massey. It's just like all these people. And Anonymous. How many times does Anonymous show up and get our hopes up and then disappear? Okay. Amanda did this. She played her cards. The guides are like, she played her cards. She showed her card. She's like, I will do this. And she said also, I don't care about my own health or life. I will take you out and I will die doing it. So that's all she had to say. So she's made a deal with them. All these people make deals. That's what happened. They all make deals. I think Massey came out with some names. He said, okay, I didn't win. I'm going to come out with some names. Well, the names he came out with were already names that were in the files. So he didn't come out with anything new. He might come out with one name that is kind of gets some headlines, but I don't see him putting his life at risk. Let's put it that way. I don't see that. And that's what happens. You're going to put your life at risk. And this woman actually said on video, I know that they will take me out and I don't care. So she called it like it was, and they made a deal with her. And that doesn't, I want to say, not that we'll hear about it, but it doesn't mean she's safe. These people need to understand it. They'll come back for you later. They'll come back for you a year later. They'll come back for you 6 months later. When you feel like you're okay, they're the mob. This is the mob we're dealing with, right? We should all be reading mob books. We should all be learning about our government by watching The Godfather, frankly. Question from Stragolsum. I don't know how to say your name. What do you see for Nina Turner? Will she run in Ohio again? Energetically, feels like she's floundering, like she can't get air under her wings, like she can't get support. Even if you think she's getting support, she's not getting the right kind of support. From in her mindset, she's like, I don't have it. I don't have whatever it is that she needs. Money, support, amplification. She's not getting, her message is not getting out. I wouldn't count her out, because I like Nina Turner, and I think that she's also, I don't know anything about her, but I think that she's also someone who would be very effective behind the scenes, like a Stacey Abrams. Like, you might not be reading about her, but she's doing things that's really moving the needle. And also for her, she's a strategist, and when she sees an opening, she'll take it. So she's positioning herself, even though she can't get any traction right now, she's positioning herself to, if there is a crack or an opening, she's going to make a dash for it. That woman, I don't know who this is, but she's got presidential aspirations. I don't know how old she is, but she's always wanted to be president or on the Supreme Court. I don't know if she's an attorney. I'm just saying these are aspirations that she has. She wants to be in a position of power to help people. So I don't think she's done. I don't think she's done. That doesn't mean that she's going to be successful, but she's waiting her turn and watching for an opportunity. I think that's really the best thing to say about her. She's waiting her turn and watching for an opportunity. Let's see. What is Jack Smith up to these days? I read on him a couple of weeks ago or a month ago, and at that time, Meg, this is Meg 9200 wants to know this. I said he's what? I don't know what I said because I'm channeling. But anyway, I know that I read on it before. So right now, when I went into his energy, I couldn't get what I said before, because right now he's gardening. He's gardening. He might be gardening inside. I don't know where he lives, or if it's like if it's warm enough. But it's like he's tending to something. He's very detail oriented. It's almost like he would be a person who would trim a bonsai tree. But I don't think he's doing that. I think he's tending seedlings that he's going to transplant into his garden. That's what he's doing. But he's also removed from our what? He's removed from, okay, I got it. He's removed from the long arm of the law here in the United States. Because I also talked about E. Jean Carroll in my video yesterday. They're going to go after these people because the DOJ is not the DOJ. It's the Department of Crimes. It's the DOC now. So Jack Smith is removed from the long reach of the criminal justice department, wherever he's at. And that's good by him, and he's happy to be there. He's completely available to be a part of the tribunal. I've always seen a tribunal. I've talked about a tribunal for so many years, and I do see him. But you know what? I see him wearing a black robe. Could he be? I don't know. I don't know why I see that, but I don't see him wearing a suit. He's wearing a black robe. I don't know if he's a judge. I don't know what. I don't really understand the mechanics of a tribunal, but that's what I see. So he's available to become a part of our reconciliation, or there's another word, reconstruction, reconciliation. He's willing to be a part of the new version of us. But he's safe outside of the whether he's outside of the country, wherever he is, he feels that he is secure. He has a buffer around him. And they don't want him. They haven't attacked him the way they attacked Hillary or the way they attacked Kamala. Or, for some reason, they're saying he's a worthy opponent. Okay, and then L Flower 1 stars says, "Is Obama safe?" I mean, as safe as he can be, right? As safe as let me look. He's as safe as he can be. I'm seeing the girls. Seeing Malia. Mm, There's a lot of he has one of the reasons why he wanted to make extra money, through his book and the different things that he's done is because he has a crack just a incredibly good security team that is surprised. I'm not going to go into what I'm seeing, but let's just say that it's not any normal security team. It's even different than, say, a mega pop star would have. It's on a different level. Okay, it's on a different level. It's actually closer to a Secret Service level security that he pays for, that follows him, Michelle, and the girls around. So as much ooh, as much as you can be safe with that. Why did they show me that? That's not good. I don't want to see this shit. Um yeah. All right. I'm just, look, what the guide said. He's as safe as he can be. There's a threat. There is a threat around him. It's probably why you're asking. We don't ask these questions like out of the blue, right? There's a reason. There's a threat around him, but I think he can make it. I think he'll make it, but that what I was getting last month was that they wanted to arrest him. But this is even better. There's a threat around him. I'm not gonna lie. I can't. You ask the questions. I have to just don't ask the questions if you don't want to know the answer. Um, but anyway, I think he's going to be okay. But he also, Obama also has a fair amount of intuition, right? He has a fair amount of intuition. Damn, I don't know. I could have gone the whole night without having to answer that question. All right. Anyway, let's move on. Keep them in your prayers. Keep all these people in your prayers, including Mondani, anybody you think is doing a good job. Pray for them. Don't worry about them because worry just adds more angst and energy. Let's add love, light, and prayers, right? Let's add that to everybody. Yeah, this is a pretty good estimation. Amy Kircher says replacing Noam with Mark Wayne Mullum is like pooping your pants and changing your shirt. That's a pretty good, I have to say. That's a pretty damn good definition. Let's see what else. Grassley is still around. Who's asked Sharon? Grassley is still around because they told him because they said he was going to retire. I knew he was going to retire. He said he was going to retire. He wanted to go spend time with his grandkids, but they said no. We need you in. You're going to be in. These people are puppets. They're not people that can do whatever they want to do. Most of them, not without real consequences, right? Or perhaps an insane amount of money, right? Like we're talking about a billionaire. So a billionaire can call you up and say, I will give you $20 million for you to go and run. It's yours. These people are Republicans. They're not going to turn that down. A lot of Democrats might not turn it down either. Sin Sucks says other psychics have seen JD resigning and Rubio becoming VP. I have talked about the same thing. The energy, when you go into the energy, it's clearly JD and Rubio are the two that are duking it out. That woman that I can never remember her name, probably for a reason, is pro Rubio. She's grooming him. She wants him to be in. And JD, I would say JD is, if I were JD, I'd be careful. Let's just put it that way. Because I said this in my video yesterday, that 45 is not a fan of him. And if 45 finds out you're dissing him or you're trying to get rid of him or whatever, he'll get rid of you. And he doesn't have any problem making that happen through a window, out, down some stairs. You know, you can be in a golf course plot too, right? So JD has got a lot of people that are not happy with him, and his daddy fled to Argentina. So I don't think JD is doing that well. He could resign if he was smart, he would resign, and he might because I mean, he's kind of smart, but also he if he's looking at his life and he's going, I can make a mega ton of money being Joe Schmo, you know what I mean? Joe Schmo billionaire. Or I can put my life on the line. Yeah, I'll choose live and make billions of dollars, Alex. I'll take that. So yes. Now Rubio becoming VP, this in this equation, this question, you're assuming that 45 is still in office. 45 doesn't like Rubio. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you right now, he doesn't. Kings don't want VPs. Kings don't have vice kings. Okay, he doesn't want a vice president. So if he got rid of JD, he would try to not have a vice president. If he did have to have a vice president, he would want one like his fly wearing vice president from before, who's basically brain dead. Rubio's not brain dead. Rubio's got his own people, and he was 45 was made to take JD. He had to do that. That was part of a deal. So I would see if this happened in that way and 45 was still viable, meaning breathing, sort of, then I think that he could choose a woman. He would choose somebody that he could push around, somebody that would be a sycophant. And now, but let's also talk about the other thing. Let's say 45 goes toes up and JD exits, then I can see Rubio trying to fight for that presidency. Okay. I don't I don't see it, but I'm telling you, stranger things have happened, and we're about to go into a period of Uranian, a lot of Uranus energy. We're about to go into this energy of anything can happen, and it's going to be a surprise. It's going to be a surprise. But I think that when I go into the energy, here's what they would like to have. And I did a whole video on this a long time ago. But they would like to have Jeffries as president. I know we don't want Jeffries as president, but they want Jeffries as president because if they had a Democrat as president, the Democrat would have to clean it all up. The person cleaning it all up is the bad cop. That's the person who has to say, look, we're all going to have to, pay more. We're going to have to roll up our sleeves, get through, that's the person who has to clean up the mess. It's always a Democrat. And so, and Jeffries is compromised. So they've always they dream about having Jeffries as president. And I think Jeffries could be president before 28. So if you want to talk about surprises, I think that's some things that could happen. What else is happening in the chat? Thanks everybody for joining me. That QR code over there goes to my website. If you want to shoot a picture of it, you can go to my website. You can find out about my online community where I'm with you 6 hours a month, 3 different events, 2 hours each, hanging out, doing readings, helping you live through this, survive this, thrive through this, plus a whole bunch of other things that I offer to you guys. So just so that you know what that QR code is, really appreciate you. I don't know what you mean about, I didn't see what happened with Bondi and the survivors today. I saw that Bondi had a bandage on her neck. Apparently she has thyroid cancer. But people that have had thyroid cancer are saying that she had her surgery weeks and weeks ago, and that's not what happens. It's you use liquid, you use like a glue to hold that together. So they're making fun of her bandage, calling it like, a bandage on his ear. But I don't know what I can talk about it, but I don't know what your question is. So, but let me know your question. Bondi's another one. This place is nuts. We do need to be drug testing the government. We do need to be drug testing the government. Remember when the guides just showed me German Shepherds and then they showed me Biden? Remember when Biden's German Shepherds were biting the Secret Service? Do y'all remember that? That was like foreshadowing. Secret Service is not your friend. Biden had literally German shepherds biting Secret Service like that. We should have known them. What else is happening? Laura Loomer for Veep. Yes, you get it. Hey, Patty Gunas, you get it. Yeah, like that kind of sycophant. Yeah. I'm trying to hold on here, but I get closer and closer to the Canadian border. They wouldn't take me, but I don't know. I might be on a boat in the middle of the Pacific soon. If Laura Loomer is our VP, I don't know what I don't know how I'm going to be able to handle that. Okay, what else is going on? Yeah, I agree. The APAC Dems are compromised. I mean, yeah, I would agree with that. I'm sick of corporate Democrats too, Patty. You're saying that they aren't people waking up to the truth of what's going on. What does it take for American people to really digest the lies? Well, they're starting to say things like, oh, I think something happened to Biden during the debate, and I think that he was compromised. I think he drank something, or they put something in his water, or something happened to him. They're starting to say, oh, I think the VOTE was rigged. They're starting to wake up. But these things, when we first started saying this, I was the tinfoil hat wearing crazy person, right? They put me down. They were like, you're crazy, you're talking crazy. Even our own community was like, no, Susan, that's crazy. Well, now we're starting to realize this is not crazy. This is actually really, really in the realm of possibility. So they are waking up. And I've talked about, like, the price of gas is going to cause them to wake up. There's going to be a constellation of things that's going to sort of all come together and cause a lot of people to sort of just get really angry. And when you're in a relationship and you've put up with a lot of things for a long time, you haven't said anything, then when you finally lose it, you go back through the hits of your relationship. And that time 3 years ago, when you said my shoes look terrible. And then there was that time 2 years ago. This is how people are going to be. Once they decide they're mad, they're going to be mad about all the stuff they've been putting up with. And they're going to be mad about all of it. So once that dam is broken, it's really, really broken. And Donnie, you're asking Jeffries or Johnson. No, I really do mean Jeffries. I understand that the power of the transfer of power goes from the president down, vice president down to the speaker. But I'm just saying, when I go into the energy, these Republicans want Jeffries as president. How do we get there? 1,000 different ways. 1,000 different ways. This whole thing falls apart. Mike Johnson steps down. The midterms, we win. Jeffries is speaker. There's a lot of ways that can you imagine how we are here today? How did we get here today? It wasn't through any straight and normal route. So we can get to these places in the same crazy ways that we got here. I'm not saying it's for sure going to happen. I'm saying this is what they want. If they lose power, they want Jeffries as president, because they don't see him as they see him as somebody they can control. Even if Jeffries doesn't think he's controlled, he'll be the guy who says, come on, let's all come together for the good of the country. Let's all get the red people and the blue people together and sing Kumbaya. That's him. That's him. And that's what they want. They want us to compromise again and again and again. Johnson would be worse, but I don't see Johnson keeping that role. If he did get it, I don't see him keeping that role. Libby Meister Tarot reminds you guys she's got a great YouTube channel. The felon has nothing on his schedule since the cabinet meeting. Is he still upright? Well, I mean, upright is the wrong question, because he's often not upright, but he's still alive. He's hanging on by a thread. The guides told me, and this is what they're saying again, is that he is dying as he's walking, dead man walking. People go into hospice and they become bedbound or they become less ambulatory. He is actually dying. They're shooting him up with amphetamines, allegedly. This is what the guides are saying. They're like electrocuting him, lighting him up so he can be viable, upright, walking around for a couple of hours every, couple of days, but he's not alive. He's dying. So, are you asking, did he already pass? I don't think so. I could be wrong. I don't, I don't see him going to the light. I see him being a ghost, which should be really easy for me to find, unfortunately. Um, or some kind of weird interstellar, like he's not in the light and he's not, there probably is a lot of things we never thought, like purgatory and hell. Starting to believe in all of that stuff now. But anyway, I don't know. What do you get, Libby? I think he's still alive. Here's what I get. I think it's June. I think it's June that he goes out. He either goes out of the presidency or goes out of his life. The last time I called it, he did have a near-death experience, or I've read the energy of blood on the walls in the White House. There was actually shooting in the White House. So I feel like energetically he has another exit point in June. I feel like it's around his birthday, it's around Flag Day, but I feel like it could be June. Feels really, really heavy for him, or light, depending on how you want to think about it. See what else is going on. What is K doing? Do you mean what is EK doing? Oh, EK. Oh, okay. I see who you're talking about. I hate reading on her because she's so scary dark. Um, you're talking about Erica with 3 Ks. um, let me look. I don't know if I want to look, but let's look. Where is she? What is she doing? She's plotting and planning. They're telling me she's plotting and planning something. She's got those shifty eyes. Her eyes move around too much. It's like, girl, what you doing? She's plotting and planning to. Oh, right. So there you have it, right? Like when I said he would probably pick a woman to be VP. I've read this before. She would love to be VP. She wants to be president. So guess what? VP is real close to president, and then all it takes is a little extra, those pills, and then all of a sudden you're president. So, but let me ask. That's what she wants. But let me see from his side, from 45 side. He likes her. He likes her tenacity, her toughness. She's ruthless. He likes the fact that she's ruthless. He feels like he can make a deal with her. He feels like he can dominate her. He feels these are all check marks for him. He's so far, he likes her. So keep your eye on her, because I wouldn't be completely surprised. Laura Loomer would do me in. I don't know why, but it would do me. So actually KKK would too. My God, what are we doing? I don't know what we're doing here. Let's see. I don't think this is a question. Terrell says, do the bad guys guides, so does 45 spirit guides help them do bad stuff? No, I don't think so, because when I've read on this before, 45 was supposed to do what he's doing. He came here to clean out the swamp. He's doing it, right? Like this, things that have been wrong in the United States of America since our inception, we're learning more about it. We didn't know all this stuff. We didn't know. We just didn't know. So he's doing his job. Here's the problem. He went too far. You can be a villain, right? We need all the players on this earth. We have light and dark. We have duality. We need all the players. But you're supposed to just play your role. You're not supposed to go further than your role. And what happens with some of these souls is they get so enamored of their role, they start to get high, they start to get off on that, those dastardly deeds, and then they go too far. They just go too far, and that they're out of bounds. The guides are saying they get out of bounds. But as a human, our guides can't really interrupt. We have free will here, so it's not like, unfortunately, or I don't know, there's nobody that's going to come in here and rein him in. We have to. These are lessons for us, right? So I've done some videos on souls that were kind of evil souls. Fascinating video, because once they cross over, if they don't escape, like there's a side door. If they don't escape, they get sent to this planetary existence where there's not a lot of free will, because we can't trust their free will. They don't know how to stop their own instincts. So what happens is they can't act on them. There's less free will. It's not a prison, it's just less free will. Then from there, they go to a little more free will, a little more free will. This is the granddaddy free will place. This is where you can be an axe murderer if you want. You can be Gandhi if you want. So, but the fascinating thing that I learned about that video, doing that video, was that if you're a soul that went too far to the dark here, and you went through the process of kind of remediating your soul, you actually came back to the United States, or to the United States, for sure, the United States, because God knows, you came back to the world, to the earth, as a higher, a brighter light, because you've healed, you've overcome, and you come back as a brighter, like an ascended type soul. It's fascinating. It's a fascinating thing. I wouldn't say very many souls do that, can do that. But if you can, you come back with a higher, with all of that learning and all of those scars that are here, still here, but they're healed, but you can still see the scars. It's fascinating. Here's a Canadian question. New Moon says, Danielle Smith, Premier of Alberta, is pushing for separating from Canada. Oh, Lord have mercy. Do you see her downfall coming? Oy vey. Y'all have, unfortunately, our MAGA energy escaped. It escaped the farm, the funny farm, and some of it went north. And it's centered around that whole oil kind of energy. So I don't see this. I would say that when I go into Canada's energy, there is, because you're a big country, you're physically a very big country, right? There's so the energy of the identity of your country on the east is very different than your identity of your country on the west, and that puts these people in the middle, in kind of no man's land, where I think they feel like they're left out. They feel like they don't have a say or whatever, but I don't see them separating. I don't see them separating, but I just want to say that is not going to go away. That is a problem. Those people in that area are causing problems, are going to continue to cause problems. And then they're going to export that energy to the east and the west and try to drive, say in the east, a stake between the French speaking and the English speaking. You know what I mean? They're going to try to separate, divide and conquer. Okay. So I don't think this person is going to be successful. I don't think this tactic is going to be successful, but I do think that that this is an energy that isn't going away. And I'm not sure that Carney is addressing it enough, because he's got a lot on his plate. But you do need someone who's going to literally somehow bring it together. I would say that your meth addict neighbor down south, has caused you guys to come together. That was a surprise good effect of our problem, is you guys came together against us, which was good for you. And I hope whatever way that you all can continue to stay together, that you do, because there are factions trying to drive you apart. whether that's, I don't think it's successful. But um, question from I cannot say your name, Strigala Salem. Did the German Shepherds want to go back to Delaware? They remember they took one German Shepherd and they gave him a new home with family. They kept one German Shepherd. One was named Major. And now I feel like the German Shepherds are living with the Bidens, because I honestly think these German Shepherds are trained to protect the Bidens. They're very, very good dogs. I don't know if I answered your question. I hope so. Let's see what else is happening. Thanks you guys for joining me. How are y'all doing tonight? I hope you have plans for the weekend. Good plans. I hope you're planning to take care of yourself, because that's the most important thing. Really. Let's see what else is happening here. Right. This is such a great question. Eco soul art. I was having a conversation with my spirit guides like a month ago, and I had exactly the same idea. And the thing that Flowers One Stars and Eco Soul Art is saying is really wondering if we need a president. Because I remember the guides saying you might not even want a president. So I know other psychics have seen the potential of some kind of cabinet, some kind of coalition presidency, even a parliament. I think we will have a president, but then I think we're going to have one or two presidents, and then we may literally go into a parliamentary situation. We're going to rewrite our constitution. But I will tell you that the American people are like, we don't care. What does a president do anyway, except for screw up things, right? Like, I don't think we're all that hyped on presidents right now. Even if we got, one we liked, we might not even care. Right. And I think this is a good idea, Libby, Meister Tarot, on YouTube, that you think he'll be incapacitated immediately and pass weeks later, but they'll trot him out with pre-recorded videos. So that's something we need to be careful around. These AI videos, people wearing a mask, like the guy from Fox News that had the hole in his neck that, was a mask or something. Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Yeah, Erica KKK has terrible, terrible energy, but she's truly evil. She's really, 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 really evil. Is Representative James Comer of Kentucky going to win re-election this year? If he is running, I don't know why they're saying that, but is he really running? He's running. Is he running? Okay. Maybe not. Maybe not. Is he running in Kentucky, in an area of Kentucky that has coal? I mean, I'm from Kentucky. I'm from Louisville, so I'm up near the top of the Indiana border. But does he represent an area with coal? They're telling me coal interests. He may not win. Also, he has some kind of connection to West Virginia. Maybe through coal or something. I don't know. He may not win, you guys. There's going to be some upsets. There's going to be some good upsets that we're going to be really happy about. But I think it's not a foregone conclusion. They're saying it's not a foregone conclusion. So that means that it's a potential that he loses, right? Yeah, I know, right? After going in KKK's energy. I don't know if you guys remember last Friday Night Live, I was getting this whole occipital stroke or something with 45 at the very end of my last Friday night. I was having all these physical sensations at the very end. Does Spirit have anything good to say? Let's see. Faux says, does Spirit have anything good to say to help us get through this heartbreaking nightmare? Yes, they do. As dark as it is, as hard as it is, we each have our own soul light. They can never take away our soul light. They can never take away our joy. And we have to be careful about giving it away. Just because, I've said this many times, but just because somebody else is suffering doesn't mean I have to suffer, right? I don't want to make fun of their suffering. I don't want to take glee in their suffering, but I can still live my life. I can still thrive. I can still thrive. Now, why is this important? Because if you're going through the tunnel and you see the light at the end of the tunnel, we are the light at the end of the tunnel. If I'm thriving that day, because every day is a new day, that day I'm thriving, I'm your light. I'm your beacon. I'm feeling good. For whatever reason, I'm feeling good. For whatever reason, I got a raise. For whatever reason, I found $20 on the sidewalk, whatever. I'm feeling good. I'm your light. If you're in the tunnel and you see the light, that's me having a good day. Maybe I'm in the tunnel. I'm in the tunnel and I'm looking at the light, and that's you because you had a good day, because you took a nap and you feel better. And that puts your energy in a better, brighter spot. This is how we get through this. We trade places. I'm in the tunnel, you're the light. I'm the light, you're in the tunnel. Life is not ever going to be always, perfect. We're always going to have grief. We're always going to have sadness. But we can also always have a beautiful blue sky day with flowers or a kitten or a funny video. We are going to get through this because we can. And listen, truly, I want you to find videos, watch movies of people that went through World War II. Go online and look at people that are living through Ukraine. Go online and find people that have lived through things. There's so many stories out there about how I overcame this. 5 years ago, I had this diagnosis. 5 years ago, I lost everything. We need to get in touch with these stories of redemption, of overcoming, because we will overcome this. Yeah, it's dark, it's ugly, it's unimaginable, it's terrible. I don't like it either. I hate it. But my goal is to be a better person after it's over. Because if I let these yahoos, these jerks, these D heads ruin my life, ruin my health, take my mental health, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to give them that kind of power over me. I refuse to do it. That's how I'm going to fight back. I'm going to fight back by taking care of myself. And, when I'm crying because that's the truth. When I'm down. That's the truth. But when I'm up. I want to be able to hold that energy and not feel guilty, because I can't be having a good time because people are in such dire straits. You need to be having a good time. We've got to be putting positive energy into this world. This is why they're so prevalent, is because there's not enough positive energy. So I don't want you to bypass your grief or your sadness, but I want you to also not bypass your happiness or whatever happy feelings you're feeling. And I want you to also understand that to a degree you can manage that. You can tap into, I asked this question of my members, my online community today. What smell, what sound, what movie, what do you use to snap yourself out of a funk? And people were saying, oh, I listen to this type of music, and every single time I listen to it, I find myself being happier. Or one person said, I think I was a monk in a past life, because for me, if I light incense, I'm instantly calm and chill. So, people were sharing, this is how I cope. These are coping mechanisms, right? So we need to also share that here. How do you guys cope? Share it in the comments. How do you cope? Do you go into nature? Do you make comfort food? Do you listen to music? Do you take a nap? How are we coping? How are we dealing with this, right? See, Kay Han watches humor and funny movies, right? Perfect. So, we have to here's Sharon says lemongrass essential oil is an amazing mood lifter. Now, you have to understand that some essential oils are bad for pets, especially birds. Do your research. But how do here's one person after my own heart. Marie says dark chocolate. Libby says she watches Grand Design and Time Team. See, this is We have to take breaks. Even soldiers get removed from the front lines and get R&R. This is a marathon. We can't do this nonstop, right? Um, Maureen does painting, which is awesome. Here's another fan of mine that eats chocolate. Happy books and comedies. Extreme gardening. I love that. Extreme gardening and art on rainy days. Extreme gardening. Wow. Karen watches stand up, Gary Goldman, etc. Um, vitamin B complex. Again, these are all great things. Cooking, baby goat videos. Perfect. Garden, going to the gym, and crossword puzzles. A goatee man says, hugs from your pug. I love it. And lemon balm, awesome. See, now people are like, oh, I love Time Team. So people are seeing that they have things in common. Broadway tunes with your own lyrics. I love it. Just make up your own lyrics. I love that. Singing is so important. Humming. There's evidence that humming actually does change your energy. So sometimes I just try to remind myself to just do some humming while I'm cleaning. And I'm not a singer. It doesn't matter. You don't have to be a singer to hum or to sing. You watch sewing videos. See, I love this. I hope this is inspiring you all to understand that this coping is normal, right? Coping is important. Healthy coping skills are going to be really, really important. Jim Gaffman, he's funny. Yes, YouTube, hilarious videos. And these are all free, right? Like all these things that people are saying are free. Oh, that's sweet, Friday Night Live. That's sweet, Walks for the Show. That's really sweet of you to say that. Mark's brother's videos. Yoga is very good. You can do yoga sitting in your chair. You do yoga on YouTube. My Little Pony, baking macarons. Wow, that sounds amazing. You like listening to dry stuff, like people's profiles on YouTube. So that's cool. I mean, this is the thing, getting lost in a book, you pick up sticks, that's perfect. See, I hope you guys are seeing how these are not expensive things. This is just like basic things that any of us can do. And they're so important. If we, I don't know how to describe this, but I I'm a very sensitive person. So and you are too. We pick up on the energy. We can wake up in the morning and be like, "Ooh, I sense doom," or "Ooh, it feels heavy." That's when I want you to stop and say, "Okay, I acknowledge that it feels heavy, but is this mine? Is this for me? If it's not for me, say a prayer for it. Earnestly say a prayer. I'm sorry. Whoever's experiencing this, I I hope that you have relief from your suffering. May it be so, and let it go. You've done your work. You've done your work. Walking in the PNW woods, that's excellent. Walking your dog, yep, exactly. Yeah, you guys are really doing crocheting. Yep, baking bread. See, look what you guys are doing here. This is healing. You're healing each other because somebody's going to read this and say, oh, I might try picking up sticks. I might try crocheting. I've always wanted to learn how to do that. So this is super important that we're doing this. The Weird Al, what is it? The Weird Al aluminum foil song. That is for our times. Oh my God, Mickey Walk. I don't even know about the Weird Al aluminum foil. We're going to have to do some research on these things. So yes, it's super helpful. This is so important to everybody. So important because when this is done, and it's going to be done, it's going to be done. I want to see you all healthy as can be, happy as can be. Look, wouldn't it be amazing if on the other side of this, despite people losing their jobs, we learned how to be new? Look, I read a thing today online. This guy, I think it's Pride Radio is the name of his radio station. This guy worked in radio for 30 years. He spent all his time making his corporate boss successful. This is the story of all of us, right? We spent all our time making our company, not us, our boss successful, whatever. And he got laid off. So he decided to open up his own radio show. This is what I want to tell you guys. these corporations are dissolving, even though we might be losing our jobs, even though prices are so expensive, even though we can barely afford things. It doesn't mean we have to be sad. It doesn't mean we have to be depressed. We can still find ways to cope. We can still find ways to be successful, because even if you get laid off, it means become a become a contractor, right? Offer your services a la carte to people, and we're switching over from we're giving everything to the overlords, we're giving everything to these people. We're not going to do that anymore. We're going to start giving it to us. We're going to give it to our communities. But while we're switching between those two things, it's going to be like, a transition. Transitions are not the easiest thing. Yeah, we all chose to be here at this time. As I said, when I opened this, I want a refund, but we'll talk later about it. Exactly. Stephen Colbert, right? This is what I hoped with all of these people, Joy, all these people that got laid off from NBC. I hope they go and start their own shows. Screw cable, screw CBS, NBC, screw them, right? If you're somebody with that kind of audience, you can go anywhere and start again. Really and truly. But we have to have the ability to think that we can do it. This is what I want to leave you with. I want you to understand that you can thrive in this time. I have not read this book, but I swear I'm gonna have to get it, because the guides will not stop talking about love in the time of cholera. I know people say it's an amazing book. I don't know why, but they keep talking about love in the time of cholera. Maybe it's love in the time of a terrible time. I don't know. But read books that give you hope. Read books about World War II, World War I, or times when people overcame, and yet they still kept their dignity. They still kept hope. Super important. Yeah, Randy Rainbow is fun too. He's fun. Right. Jim Acosta, Katie Fang, Ari Melville, and Joy. I can't think of her goddamn last name. I can't think, but anyway, she's in there too. She's brilliant, and I hope she's starting her own path. Right. We shouldn't just let these people lay us off, and then we think we're worthless. We're not worthless. We made that company successful. We're the reason they're successful. So it's the energy about taking this to ourselves. Take it back. I'm going to take all that stuff I did for that company. I'm going to do it for me. And then see what happens. Then become a contractor for that company and charge them 10 times more than they were paying you. You know? Because that's the thing. We're going to get through this, and we're going to come through the other side for real. Because I'm sick and tired of these people. Yeah, Don Lemon is another one. Remember, he was arrested. This man was freaking arrested. And now he's streaming, and he looks so good. He looks happy. He just glows. He looks better now than he did when he was working for, the corporations. And I think that's what happens is we get our life back. Right. It's written by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. Read it. It'll make sense. I have to read it because the guides won't stop talking about it. Let's see. You got let go 9 months ago. It was not easy, but I got another job offer and I start 8, 9. Just don't give up. I'm so glad. Oh, you got it. Great, Linda. I'm so happy to see that. Linda is part of our community. I'm glad that you got another job. That's great. I'm glad to hear that. Yeah, it's hard to not give up, but and don't keep doing the same thing. Like if you're trying to get a job and you just keep doing the same thing, putting in the same resume for the same kind of jobs, pivot. It means your guides don't even want you there. Go higher. Oftentimes we go lower. We're like, well, let me try to get this job that's 3 rungs down because I just need to get a job. And you don't get those jobs, then it gets really debilitating and depressing because you're like, golly, I can't even get a job that's down below where I thought I was. Really what's happening is your spirit guides are like, go up, not go down, right? Go up. So try to shoot higher, because I really feel like this is a time When if you do that, you're going to get better results, especially if you keep trying and it's not working. Yeah, Katie Couric has her own channel. This is what I predicted. All these Hollywood was going to fall apart. I predicted the media, news media was going to fall apart, and that everybody was going to go out on their own, right? So this is what's happening. It's actually happening right now. And it's Joy Reid, thank you. And it's going to happen. It's going to happen to us. It's going to happen to all of us. It's really about the universe is saying, are you in alignment with your highest good? And if you're not in alignment with your highest good, it's not going to work. You're going to break down. You won't be able to continue in that job. You won't be able to continue in that relationship, because this new energy is like, you have to be in alignment with who you are, with your highest good. And if you do that, you're going to be good. Trust me when I say, this is how I got here, is that I kept aligning with my highest good, even when my highest good was higher than I thought it should be. Even when I'm like, I don't belong here. I kept saying, okay, yeah, let me try it. And then you'll know when you're on your soul path, because things just start green lighting. Things just keep going. So it's really good. Oh, what happened? Libby says, try something out of your wheelhouse. She met hubby on a weekend scuba diving course and recorded my first YouTube video 30 times forever ago. Wow, I love it. Yes. Yes. Yeah, you risk something for you, right? And all that, starting YouTube channel is free. These things can be free, or they can be low cost. Yeah, the I've Had It podcast is good. You guys are still sharing so many good. I love it. I love it that you guys are still sharing ways to support each other. This is how you want to know how we get out of it. This is how we get out of it. Come on to people's lives. Come on to comments or the lives. Join my community. I have a free one too, and support each other. This is how we're going to get out of this better than we came into it. Oh, wow. Let's see. Mary Stitch says, I told you that you would finally get your income tax refund with help of my accountant, and you did after 14 months. Yay! Congratulations, Mary. You know, and that's actually against what you think would happen, because the IRS has been gutted, you know, but I'm so glad you got your tax refund and your accountant helped you. I'm so glad that that happened. Thank you for letting me know. I'm so happy for you. You know, if they had if you had their money, they'd be all up in your business, you know, they'd be charging you interest and everything. Let's see. Bern O'Malley says, and I appreciate you, because you're always like, Susan, it's 2 hours, get the hell off of this thing. So I see you and I appreciate you. Okay, can you check the energy of the father of that Texas family that moved to Russia because USA was too damn woke? Weren't they trying to come back? And didn't the father get conscripted? You guys tell me. This is what I'm remembering. This is what the guides are saying. I think the father got conscripted into the army, the Russian army. And that's what I read. So the guides are saying they're stuck. They're stuck. Yeah, he was conscripted. Okay. They're not enjoying their lives. They're stuck. It's very cold. It's very damp. It's cold and damp, like I'm seeing cinder block walls. Like it's just not very insulated. It's not comfortable. And they aren't treated well. They're treated like second-class citizens, which is karma. What you're talking about, girlfriend, is karma. They're treated the way they wanted people to be treated here, like second-class citizens. That's how they're being treated. I don't know if that husband is going to come back. He might come back. He might come back. You know, it's so weird. You thought he was killed? I don't know. Is he alive or dead? Oh, he might not come back. I don't know. They're trying to block me from reading about his health. That's all I can say. But I'm gonna say that I don't think he comes back. But they're trying to block me from that. So it's always a reason that I shouldn't know this info. I shouldn't say anything publicly. But you know what's interesting? I don't know why they keep saying this, but they keep saying if Biden was president, like if I'm just going to say what they're saying. They're saying if Biden was president, he would actually help that family come back. Like he wouldn't hold it against them. He would say, you know, hopefully you learned your lesson, but come on back. Well, we still love you. Come on back into the country. I don't know why they just keep saying that, but perhaps that means that there is another president who might open the doors to them again in the future. The wife and the kids. Yeah. The dad did die on the front lines. Okay, they don't want me to talk about it. I mean, I saw some things and they don't want me to talk about it, so I'm not going to talk about it. But that's what I would say. They're stuck there for now. And wait a minute. Let me ask if 45 would bring them back. They're showing me that the widow of the firefighter who got KILLED in Butler when he did not get his ear SHOT. I don't know why they're showing me that. They're showing me her. Like, she still has drank the Kool-Aid, right? She started to say some bad things about 45. I don't know if you remember that, but then they sent somebody to her and now she hasn't. I don't know that she said anything else. So I feel like the mom of these kids has still drunk the Kool-Aid, and if they could bring her back and she would be a good spokesperson, they might bring her back, but Putin doesn't want her to come back. So I don't know. I don't know how that's going to end up. I mean, 45 does not care about her. If he could use her as a PR, some kind of PR stunt, then he would care. They must be talking about it. They must be talking about it because this is a potential. It's a potential. I mean, it's karma. I don't know if I want to say they deserved it, but I would just say looks like karma to me. Really. Yeah, that's true because Biden thought we were a big family and Biden had a lot of forgiveness, and I think we need to switch over to a Democrat who has no forgiveness, who will just be an asshole. Cuz you know what I mean? Cuz we're just too easy. We're too nice somehow. We're just too nice. Um Oh God, somebody said the Liz Cheney. Somebody put out the Liz Cheney bat signal. You guys get ready to put your helmets on. Franny Fitz says, will Liz Cheney be involved with the interim government? Oh, she said all the words in one sentence. Okay, I'm breathing. Okay, I'm just saying that, look, I never liked Dick Cheney, ever. I didn't care when I don't who do I care about Liz Cheney? I don't care about Liz Cheney. The problem is that my spirit guides kept telling me she's a formidable opponent. You need to be careful of Liz Cheney because she's going to come back around. This was years and years ago. They showed me the White House, which is still possible, burned down to the ground. There's embers that are still kind of smoking, and she's walking around the perimeter of the burned down area with cowboy boots on, with little metal things around the end of the cowboy boot, around the toe, and she's kicking at the embers to see if they're out enough. And that's the metaphor for, once the Republican Party burns it all down, she's going to circle back around and be, ta-da, the new version, the new face of the Republican Party. Her, Adam Kinzinger, you better believe MTG is trying to also be this person. No, it actually makes my blood pressure go up because I see people falling for it. I see people going, well, she was a hero and she did the right thing for Jan 6. And no, no, she voted for a lot of this crap. She was in office signing Trump's bills over 90% of the time. That doesn't make her a hero. That means she dodged a bullet. That's what happened. This woman dodged a bullet. So now the question about whether or not she will be involved in interim government, I fear yes. But, oh, I see. Okay, okay. She wants to be, yeah, that's even worse, if you ask me. Okay, you know how Miller, you know how Roger Stone was involved in Nixon's? Did y'all remember? Did you know that? Roger Stone? Um, these people like Roger Stone, like Miller, like that woman in the White House that I can't know her name right now, that I don't know why I can't know her name, but she's like really involved in everything behind the scenes. These people shape policy. They're not in front of the camera, but they're the people who shape the policy. She wants to shape the policy. She wants to be the person who wrote it. She wants to be the person who made it. But she's not sure she wants to be the person in front of the camera. She feels like there's more power you can wield, like Peter Thiel, right? She wants to be like that. She wants to have more power without being in front of the camera. Because the other thing is, when you're running, Susie Wales, thank you. God, I cannot get that name. When you run for office, you're president, you're term limited. But if you're somebody like Peter Thiel or Susie Wiles or Roger Stone or Miller, you can impact 5 presidencies. 5 presidencies. So right now, this is what it feels like she wants. She wants to be impactful, but not held accountable, because those people are actually can be voted out, right? So that's what's happening. And she's not a hero. She doesn't believe in the democracy that we believe in. Um, Massey's the same way. Massey's another one. Massey does not have a liberal voting record. He's very conservative, and he voted with Trump. Um, yeah, yeah, Roger Stone has Nixon's face on his back. And Roger Stone, just like Hitler, right? These people disappear. Sometimes they go to jail and then they come out and all of a sudden they're in power. So we have to be careful and watch these people. I don't know if she has cancer. I haven't heard anything about her health, and I, I I'm not getting the okay to read on her health, so I'm not going to. But that could be part of it. What I get when I go into her energy, she actually has a lot of kids. I will never forget how surprised I was when I heard she had children, period. Because she doesn't strike me as a maternal person who would go through a lot of pain and agony to produce a human. But anyway, she's got like a lot of kids. So when I go into her energy, that actually is stopping her, the motherhood thing. But it could be something that's going on with her health. But really, she wants to have a bigger role than the public role. It's much She can have more power and control. Yeah, stay away from her. And if somebody starts talking about Massey, or I harass I harass what's his name regularly on the internet, because I'm like, you're talking a big game against Trump, but you've co-signed this stuff, Adam Kinzinger. I'm like, just explain. Like, I'm just asking, explain to me why you don't like him now. Explain why you liked him then. I'm just asking for an explanation. He never gives you an explanation. These people just change with the wind. Well, if you can't explain to me why you changed your mind, then I think you're just going to go any way the wind blows, right? We do need new leaders with new ideas. I mean, in the worst possible way. We need a bunch of Mom Donnies, in my opinion. But we'll see what happens. Linda Best says, will Elon's latest baby mama's admission that Elon admitted to rigging the election make anyone do anything to push Trump out of office soon? I don't think so. I mean, I just don't think so. I don't think that there's no energy for that. The people that would push him out are the DOJ, and the DOJ is compromised. A lot of the Supreme Court is compromised. So who's going to push him out, right? Like, so I don't see it. But what I do see is more acceptance of that idea that was rigged within the American consciousness. We're all starting to accept it. We're all starting to say, you know what? I don't think that was right. And that's important because I talked earlier about Malcolm Gladwell in the Tipping Point book. There's going to be a point where something tips us. They talk about the straw broke the camel's back. How can a straw break a camel's back? This is where we're going to be, where one insignificant or seemingly insignificant thing breaks it. And then we're all like mad. They're all mad. And then they're mad about everything. And they're mad about school shootings. And they're mad about the environment. And they're mad about everything. I mean, everything. Once that happens, the guides are saying the public is inconsolable. Now, when you're inconsolable, you're not controllable, right? You're out of your mind. You're not rational. You're not controllable. Once that happens, they're going to give it to a Democrat. They're going to walk out like they always do. They're going to walk away like they always do and just give it to somebody else and say, good luck, right? Thank you, Diane Good. Yeah, I'm going to be wrapping it up right here. Thank you so much, everybody. I really appreciate you. Yes, right. So the Cheney, Kinzinger, Massey idea of compromise is to trick us into feeling, I'm not sure what you're going to say, but you're right. It's a trick, and it's a trick to for us to think they're heroes, to think that they stood up against the bad guys, when in reality, they are the bad guys. It's that duality thing that we keep struggling with for real. I'm sure we have to be a little careful with the Bulwark. Look into Bulwark, look into Tim Miller. I know he's LGBTQ, but he's said a lot of bad things about Kamala. These people walk a very thin line. They're not really who you think they are. So you have to kind of pay a little closer attention, but it doesn't mean that they won't be attacked by the White House, because he definitely says things against the White House. He says things against 45. Anybody, even his own people. He'll go after his own people. He'll go after his own kids. So he'll go after everybody. It doesn't matter whose side you're on. I just saw Tucker Carlson. Tucker Carlson's another one of those people who's going to rebrand. He's going to try to find some moderate. The guides are saying he's going to rebrand himself as a moderate. We just need to pay attention to that, because none of that stuff is true. Who else is doing it? This guy, they're not giving me his name, but he's the guy that had the podcast, who was kind of a heavy set guy, just a jerk basically. But he's the same thing. He's like, well, I don't know about 45 all of a sudden, right? I don't know what he's doing, right? So they're all trying to sort of distance themselves a little bit because they see the tribunal coming. Joe Rogan, thank you. They see that tribunal coming. They don't want to be a part of that. Man, what's her name? Marjorie Taylor Greene is just acting crazy, right? Like, she's saying all kinds of things about this administration. So they're trying to get some daylight between them. Alex Jones and Joe Rogan, both of them, right? Morning Joe is a little questionable too, right? If you listen closely, these people start giving up who they really are and what they really are. And that's what we have to pay attention to. Look what happened to Michael Cohen. Exactly my point, right? He's flip-flopped. Midas Touch, Karen, people love Midas Touch. It's a huge juggernaut. I think they now have brought on, who did they bring on? They brought on some really big person from media. I don't know if it's Joyanne Reed. They brought on somebody. They went and got investor money. And now they're like huge. I don't love Midas Touch for a few reasons. One is just personally, like I like what's his name, the main guy on Midas Touch. I used to watch him, but the one attorney, it's like what he's over here selling suitcases, and then he's selling. Look at this mattress. I'm like, are you kidding? Y'all don't make enough money? I mean, really? I just don't get it. I don't want to see. Well, you all see, look, I don't have ads interrupting me. I'm talking for 2 hours. I don't have ads interrupting me. It's just, I don't like them. This will be monetized tomorrow. It's not monetized now. If YouTube makes me monetize it, meaning they say, Susan, if you don't put an ad on it, I'll put an ad on it, then I'm going to do it, right? Rather than give the money to YouTube, I'll take it. They do trick us sometimes. There's a box that they change so that when you do this all the time, you go click, 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 but they change the boxes and then it puts ads in the middle. And I've done that by accident, but I that's just not me. I'm not that person. So I want you, Popak, right? I want you to do this. This is my advice for everybody. Seriously, what are they not talking about? If they're talking about 45, headset, Patel, Noam, that's great. Like you're like, yeah, but they're never talking about Tulsi, or they're never talking about, what's happening in Gaza, or they're never talking about what's happening at Delaney or Minnesota. What are they not talking about? Because whatever they're not talking about is where they're getting their money. Okay, pay attention to what they're not talking about, because that's untouchable. That they're not ever going to talk about that, because that's where they're getting their money. So just pay attention. This is the bulwark. Like I was a big fan of the bulwark, and then I was listening. I was putting together furniture, and I was listening for like 3 hours one day, and I was like, "Say what? What did he just say?" So you have to pay attention to what they're saying. And when we get into our echo chamber and people just tell you what you want to hear, it can be dangerous, because we only hear what we want to hear. So pay attention to what they're not saying. And then make your own mind up, right? Like maybe you're like, well, I like this person on Midas, or I watched him this time and that time or whatever. Yeah, like the rigged elections. That's another one, right? Like they didn't say anything about that. That's why I like the politics girl, right? Like I talked about her before, the politics chick, whatever her name is. She was on Midas, and she came out and said, "Hey, I'm a I'm a I'm a journalist, and I didn't talk about this stuff because I didn't want to be seen as a tinfoil hat wearing crazy conspiracy theorist. So I didn't say anything. But I'm telling you now, a year later, it was rigged." She's like, "I'm telling you now, the e-files are real. I'm telling you now, all this stuff is too much evidence for me not to say it's not real. Yet, if I stayed with these other people, I wasn't allowed to say that." Okay? Pay attention to those people who break out and say, "I'm just telling you the truth because this is what I'm saying," right? Like, Adam Mockler, there's a lot of people out there that are doing really good work, but I would say the same thing about me. If you think that I've gone off, weird direction, cancel me, right? Do what's best for you, but make sure that I'm staying true to whatever I'm saying. Make sure that whoever you watch is saying true to whatever they're saying, because people can have a mask. We all know this from dealing with narcissists, right? They can have that mask on, and then all of a sudden their mask slips and you're like, oh, uh-oh, right? So I'm glad you guys are sharing people that you like, that you trust. Always double check. Heather Cox Richardson's amazing. I freaking love her. She's been around a long time, super helpful. Mockler does a little clickbait. Sometimes these people, I hate to say it, guys, but I can do a title on my YouTube channel that says, "Good times coming to the United States, everything's getting better." You won't click on it. It's human nature. I'm telling you, I've done this for years. You won't click on it. If I put, oh my God, Trump fell down the stairs and crapped his diaper and smeared it on the rug, you guys would break your necks trying to get to watch that. So it's hard to not do clickbait because I want to get my message out to you that I think is valuable, but I also need to create a title that gets your attention amongst all the crazy stuff that's trying to get your attention. I'm not saying that they should or that I should. I'm just telling you human nature kind of creates that situation. And that's why I think once you get to know somebody, you don't need that clickbait because you're like, well, I really like Adam and I just know he's going to have good things to help me out. He's going to give me good information, right? I don't know. I don't know what to say about it. But if you don't like it, don't watch it. That's the great thing about that's what I want you to learn from this situation, right? We're not being held prisoner anymore. Nobody's going to hold us prisoner. You may make our prices high. You might make a lot of things horrible, but I can still walk in the backyard and look at my garden. I can still go out my front door and look at the trees. I can still look at my hands and go, I'm human, I'm living. I woke up on the right side of the earth, right? Like we've got to find some positives too. So, with that, you guys, I hope you do something fun this weekend, right? Take really good care of yourselves. We shared in the chat so many ways. You guys were so great supporting each other and shared a lot of ways that you can, cope and coping mechanisms. It's super important. Yes, all these things are so great. I really want to tell you guys, I really appreciate you so very much. Okay. Take really good care of yourselves. I will try to pop on between now and next Friday, but for sure I'll be here Friday. And just keep supporting yourself and supporting each other, and we'll get through this together. Okay, everybody? See you next time. Take good care.